I am resident of Colorado for YouTube, Joel Saints. That is Vicki Ray. That is Tom Diamond. We're here to talk John Carpenter's immortal classic, Halloween. Came out in 1978, and it rocked the box office. It became at the time one of the most highest grossing independent movie until Blair Witch came out.
Until Blair Witch came out, which I don't understand, but okay.
Well, when you fake three kids' death to sell a movie, it's all okay.
Yeah. It was the shaky camera stuff. I literally, that makes me crazy.
Yeah, it does.
I know, everybody goes, no, it's genius. I go, no, it makes me crazy.
No, what got people into theaters was the curiosity of three kids that everybody thought was dead. And I'm thinking, this isn't real.
It's kind of like Cannibal Holocaust. Remember, they thought they killed all the actors. They put that guy on trial in Italy after he'd been done filming it because he thought he killed all the actors because of all the real animal mutilations in the movie.
I cannot understand, and I'm going to let Vicki, who's the expert on the Halloween series, chime in. But I cannot understand why a film like that grossed $70 million internationally with a $300,000 budget.
$325,000. That doesn't even count franchise, merchandise, everything else.
I mean, the whole thing is like $1 billion, effort. It's incredible.
Except for that third movie, Season of the Witch, which I don't know. Some people don't like discussing that one.
I have to catch up. I have to catch up on all the rest of the Halloween series, although it made a career for Jamie Lee Curtis, and God bless her. I mean, she stuck with that. She didn't mind being typecast in it. I mean, so
not really though, because she did True Lies and all that other stuff. She's done a lot of stuff. She really kind of did emerge from Hollywood, but she's always going to be a scream queen, you know. But I mean, she did emerge from that though. She did get away from she was actually lucky. She could do both.
Yeah,
you know, because she has comedy. I mean, like A Fish Called Wanda, one of my fucking favoriteest movies ever. A Fish Called Wanda. She was.
I was just thinking of that. A Fish Called Wanda.
What was
that
the
was
other
a funny
one? Eddie Murphy
movie.
and
Trading Places.
Yeah,
that was a funny movie.
That was another great movie. She did good. I mean, that just made her though. Halloween did, but I mean, she's shown up in so many other things. She's a brilliant actress. She always has been. Do you know her mother had to buy her clothes for this movie because it was so cheap? They had to bring their own clothes. They didn't have a costume. They had to buy their own clothes. I mean, and that was the Captain Kirk face
the mask. And you can see that. I think in the later film, I saw stills of the later films, and you can actually see the Captain Kirk mask. You can't. I wasn't able to see it in the first one.
Yeah,
they whited it out, but you can see how it looks like Shatner and it's like really funny in a way. But the two things that I liked about Halloween specifically were Donald Pleasance. And you know, they wanted Peter Cushing, but it wasn't enough
Christopher
money
Lee
for
too.
Yeah,
Christopher Lee said it was one of the biggest mistakes he ever made.
That was Christopher Lee. Yeah,
paid Donald Pleasance $20,000.
Exactly it. See, I told you, Vicki's the expert here. But Christopher Lee didn't want it, and then he regretted it. He said it was the biggest because he would have been in on all that. He would have been in on all that moolah. That you know, believe me, it wasn't for the script that I think but that was interesting. But Cushing didn't want it simply because it wasn't enough money.
But he was I mean, really though, at that point, it really was like an independent film almost. I mean,
it is an independent film if you think about it, because they were on a shoestring budget.
Well, it was shot in spring, but you see trees in the back. You could almost see a palm tree here and there.
Palm trees.
Like that's not Midwest. And they had, I think even Robert Englund was one of the guys that was spreading the leaves
Oh,
all
no
around
kidding.
the
Oh, no
dry
kidding.
leaves. Yeah.
Oh,
Because
that is
they
something.
did a good job though. I honestly thought it looked like Halloween night. I mean,
And
I
you
thought
know,
they did a fantastic job. And the neighbors actually participated in the movie because
Yeah.
they brought out their kids to make it look like they were trick or treating.
oh, that
I mean,
sounds
they
like
had a church donated the rundown house. I mean, it
like
was just
Plan
all
9
came
from Outer
together.
Space, where the Ed Wood's chiropractor brother-in-law portrayed
Mhm.
Lugosi after he died. So I mean, it really had a lot of. But I think one of the things there was one thing that really the scene that stands out in my mind in terms of what made it work was the little scene where all of a sudden you realize the kid outside in the street, Michael Myers at age 6, and he has the knife that he killed his sister with. And you
Mhm.
realize that he was the one that killed his sister. You know, I really thought at first it was the adult Mike Myers or something like that was doing it. But then when you realize that the little kid cut her up in little pieces, that was, I think, a very, that was one of the things that made the film work because quite frankly, it wasn't one of my favorite movies. That's for sure. I would assume that the sequels were better. Like Vicki, the next one.
Debatable.
I would hope that the sequels are better. Let's put it that way. I know that Carpenter
Not
did the
gonna say a
next.
word.
Yeah, okay, yeah. No, I mean, you know, we're getting everything out here. The Halloween fans are probably going to be
Well,
running
they were
after
going to
the
call it
William
what the
Shatner.
babysitter murders at first, and that just
Yeah,
wasn't
they
going to
were.
pay.
Yeah.
That would have been lame. I'm so glad they went with Halloween and and Curtis or John Carpenter. He was just so we had Dan Curtis on the brain because of you too. But
Hmm.
John Carpenter, he was. He just had to have his name said John
Yeah.
Carpenter's Halloween. It
Yeah.
had to say it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I think that music only take 2 days to come up with
That
that.
what is the big deal? Did this happen after The Exorcist or before The
This is
Exorcist?
after, way
After
after. But
when
it
Was
did
after?
kind of set the tone for the horror genre between like till 1984, 1988, because it really was a pioneer film. Because then we got Robert Englund and we got Freddy and we got Friday the 13th, you know. And
And
then
the
there was actual gore in those because this is really not, there's no blood if you
there's
think
hard,
about it.
there's very
very
little.
few
There's very
scenes with the
little.
blood, except when you saw, you know, she had been stabbed and everything, and you saw the blood around her, and that
Or when
was
she
about
gets them with the knitting needle,
that
my
was
favorite scene.
yeah, that was about it. But it was, and I enjoyed the fact that Tom Moran, and I was talking with Vicky about it. Tom Moran, who played the adult Michael Myers, is the brother of Erin Moran, who
Yeah.
was Joni on Happy Days. And so that's a real trivial thing for you. I'll tell you, if the Cunninghams had had that kid, they would have stuck him away in the basement or something like that. Can you
Well,
imagine Ricky's little evil brother? You know,
well,
Richie Cunningham's little evil brother going after Fonzie. You know, that
Yeah.
would have been that would have been fun.
Well, they think he kind of was influenced by Ed Kemper when he come up with this. So
Was that
the
what?
serial killer. I
well,
think he's still alive. Ed
John
Kemper,
Carpenter had visited a sanitarium in Kentucky,
about the little
and
kid.
he saw this patient who was just staring at the wall, and that's where he sort of came up with some of the idea
The little boy, yeah, I
the
read
little
that.
boy of Michael Myers. And for the name Michael Myers is taken from a producer.
Okay.
Now the adult Michaels, there were several for the walking scene
Mhm.
specifically for the movements. Nick Castle was
Yeah,
cast as Michael Myers, and the reason is one, he was John Carpenter's roommate in college. Two, Nick Castle could write, and Nick Castle asked John Carpenter, "What's my motivation?" Because they shot the night scenes first. He said,
right.
"What's my motivation here? Is this guy really
I know
nuts or
you
what?"
really.
Right, and he said, "Nick, just walk. He loved the way Nick
Yeah.
Castle walked. And you see that chase sequence, and that's Nick Castle walking.
And then the head tip. Don't forget the head tip.
And now there are other people in the costume throughout because the late Deborah Hill is in the Michael Myers costume when Tommy Doyle's looking out, and you see a smaller Michael Myers, a smaller shape, and her hand's actually in the movie too because she's the one grabbing the butcher knife in the kitchen scene.
I know. Now, I've never noticed that really. Just I meant to when I watched it again. I meant to look at the hands, and I just totally forgot about that.
Now, when you go back,
they must be more feminine,
Yeah. Yes. And who was the other guy? The guy who directed Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, he was actually in the Myers costume in this movie too. So So there were a bunch of people. Tony Moran is the one they needed Michael to have a face, or so when you saw his face, it looked. And Tony Moran was in the movie. They said, "Okay, Tony, you're going to be our guy for the face reveal," and he was. So a lot of people have donned, especially for this movie, have donned the Michael Myers outfit. Nick Castle is probably the most memorable because, again, the walk, that too, and the score of this wasn't added until they showed it to a test audience, and they said, "Well, this isn't scary," and John Carpenter added the music, which is just. It's like, the movie's pretty scary without the music, but it's even scarier with them.
I thought it was pretty intense I was really young the first time I seen it, it scared the shit
I think
out
it's for young kids. That's a good point.
Especially with the sheets and stuff in the second one, or the first one, where he's standing in the sheets, or she's walking down the road and she turns around and he's by the hedges and then he's not by the hedges. He was a freaking great creeper. He just was. He did it so well. I mean, it just worked. It was just it just all came together. It was just brilliant the way
you have this man stalking this woman, and he's this escaped killer, and the town doesn't know he's out. The entire Loomis tells the sheriff, and he's like, "No, just tell your men to keep their mouths shut and their eyes open." So the rest of the town does not know there's a killer on the loose on Halloween night. And it was also Aaron Bland who came up with the title Halloween. He said, "Well, why don't we just call it Halloween? You have costumes. You're setting it on Halloween anyway."
Yeah.
And a lot of reason that it was changed was John wanted Michael to kill more around town. They didn't have the budget for that.
No.
So what you see is what they had the budget for. The most expensive, they only had. Again, this was so cheap because they only had Donald Pleasance for 3 days. It's why the night scenes.
Well, he got $10,000 for it. I think, didn't he?
Yeah. But they only had him for 3 days.
Yeah,
and that's why the night scenes are shot first. And it's like, okay, it's one of my favorite.
He put a lot of little Easter eggs in there too, though. The references to his previous work, like Russell Brackett from Dark Star in 1974, Sheriff Brackett. Then he did, he had what was it? He loved, I'm having a Tommy Doyle, Lindsay Wallace. That's where it was. Tommy Doyle was the name taken from the character in Rear Window. And I think Laurie Strode was actually one of his friends his girlfriend in high school. He used her name.
Right.
And I think there was another reference, to Scream. They were referencing Scream too as a tribute to Halloween, the 1996 one.
It's amazing to me that whether they recently celebrated the 50th anniversary of Halloween.
Yeah, it's just like, God, I mean, I feel so dated sometimes when I realize that.
But I think you come up with a very good point, Vicki, in that young kids would really be scared to death when they saw something like that. And I think that this was a perfect Saturday matinee film for the young crowd, at 12 o'clock and before the real feature came on. I could see that working, because I think that adults, well, and you tell me, were the adults also turned on by the thing, or were they just pestered to bring the kids into it.
To this, well, it was a rated R movie. I mean, no, like you weren't. I mean, I didn't watch it till like a year or two till after it had come out because I couldn't. My mother wasn't going to take me to see that.
How
I had
old
to
were
beg her
you?
to take me to see Saturday Night Fever. Okay, I mean, I begged for that one, but
There you
no, I
saw
mean,
Brooklyn.
it was an adult movie basically. Back then, you really could not. They really enforced it. Back then, you could not get in if it was 17. I mean, you remember you couldn't get in.
It was an R
So,
movie.
but I think that I think the fact that it didn't have all the gore and the blood really made it more intense. It's sort of like Jaws, you know, you don't see the star of the show until much later in the movie.
Yeah.
Sometimes that intensity is so much more of a ball buster than, you know, instant gratification sometimes, you know.
Well, I think that did help the movie because you were wondering what does this monster look like, and
Yeah.
really all it is a guy in a mask and a knife, and how did he kill one of the guys? And he nailed him to the wall or something like that.
He had a knifed him to the wall.
He knifed him to the wall. So that's all it is. It was a guy with a knife, but it wasn't anything fancy. It wasn't anything, really
No,
super
it really
to figure
wasn't.
out.
It was really quite. It was just a horror movie. It was just a
Which
story, and I
which the
really
kids
love.
will
This
love.
is what I can honestly say. The sequel I actually liked because I normally don't
I have
like
to see
sequels,
it. I have
but
to
I
see
really
it.
liked how they picked up from Halloween. But after that, it gets just. I know it's a franchise, but I mean, I was really glad when Halloween Ends really meant.
Well, Carpenter did the second movie
Carpenter didn't
because
do the last two.
no, he didn't. No, he only did the second one, and then that was it. He wanted everything to be kind of like resolved and finished up in the second movie, and I don't think they expected there to be any more. I think they were probably pretty surprised by what they
I
got.
don't think the franchise really hadn't kicked in at that point. Well, Hammer Films were a franchise, I guess you could call it that.
Yes,
You know, and
yes.
then what came after, or Amicus Films and things like that. But I think this was kind of like the birth of the franchise almost, pretty much. Because then after that, well, you had Texas Chainsaw come. I mean, it just everything just kind of came after this. I mean, it was just amazing how everything kind of fell into place. Like I said, it really set the precedent for the next 10 to 12 years of horror. The 80s was just a banging decade for the horror genre.
Well, they're giving this movie credit for effectively mixing sex and violence. That violence is going to come after sex. And
don't have premarital sex as a teenager. You are going to die. It's just basically what it is. Do not have sex under 18.
Yeah.
You know, because look at Jason. You know, I mean, everybody dies. They get speared right through. You know.
But I disagree. But I disagree that it was the first one that did something like that. I think the erotic stuff of the Carmilla trilogy and the Hammer series, the Vampire Lovers, Lust for a Vampire, and Twins of Evil, and stuff like that. Plus the Lee Dracula series, that really focused on the eroticism of sex as being mixed in with it, and this was more just slash him, hack him, cut him up after you screw him, that kind of thing. And but again, it worked, and I guess any fan of this genre is going to say, well, who cared that you can pick the movie apart, and who cared if scene 20 wasn't perfect or something like that. I would like to see the bloopers on that. I don't know if they have bloopers on.
Oh, they're around.
I would love to see the bloopers.
They were on. There was some on YouTube.
There are bloopers in this movie. Actually, you could see John Carpenter's cigar smoke is in this movie.
Yes.
I mean, you're not supposed to be able to spot the big fan that's blowing the curtain open, but you clearly can. And it's so there are fun little bloopers within this movie again because it's an independent film. I mean, as a fan of the franchise, it's fun to go back and watch the original movie, not just for the scare, but for all the cool bloopers you get to see. It's like you appreciate this film a lot more when you realize, okay, they had a very tight budget. They were what they were working with, and the fact that they pulled this off and they were successful with it makes it all the more fun. Yeah, the sequels are fun and stuff.
They are fun.
But it's like,
you got to really take it with a grain of salt. I didn't get upset about a lot of people lost their mind over it, but I didn't. I just go, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So.
I agree with you. I didn't know what it was about the film that people would lose their minds over. I'm going to be very honest with you. I thought that, the film was okay, but there must. I'm trying to figure out why was that such a moneymaker, considering the fact that, with the exception of those two scenes that I talked about, the one scene that I talked about with the kid, which was really with the knife, which was really that was really good, and with Donald Pleasance, I don't think Donald Pleasance drew them.
Did he shoot 6 bullets or 7? I still count. I count 7. He's not supposed to have that extra bullet.
In part 2, he does. In part 2, he does. In part 2, he does.
Who's that? Donald Pleasance?
Yeah,
part
he shoots 7 bullets.
Oh, he's in the second one, too. Oh, it's a spoiler for me, but that's all right.
Well, to answer your question, why did people like it so much? Think of the 70s. You had the rise of serial killers back then. I mean, you had all these crazy wackos killing people. You had the Hillside Strangler. You had them all.
Son of Sam.
People liked being scared. Son of Sam. You had
Bernie Getzler.
Bundy. You had a whole bunch of them.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
And they all had the same glasses.
That's a very good point, and that's like kind of art
people
imitating
like being
life.
Scared. You had Texas Chainsaw came out. I mean,
it
never went away. People, I will watch. I will look for your serial killer documentaries. I literally will watch any serial killer documentary. So I mean, serious. That's why I like Matthew's podcast so much. He's always got serial killers on there. Great stuff. But that's why the 70s was such a gritty, dirty era. I mean, that decade I always thought was kind of gritty, dirty, bad floral designs everywhere, horrible wallpaper, plaid couches, green and pinks everywhere. It was just it looked like the whole decade was hosed down with Pepto-Bismol sometimes. Seriously.
Cute.
I'm not lying. You remember. I do. The plaid bell bottoms. God.
Leisure suits.
I had a pair.
God.
Yeah, they had it narrowed down to 2 masks for this movie.
Yeah.
A clown mask and a Captain Kirk mask, and they took the Captain Kirk mask. They tore off the eyebrows, the sideburns. They opened up the eye sockets and they painted it white.
Very effective.
Yeah, and Carpenter wanted a blank expression. And that's exactly what he got with that mask. Finally, I think it was by Halloween 4, William Shatner's attorneys noticed.
It took him that long?
It took him a while.
That's true, though. I mean, decades later, almost. Yeah. I don't know why he would get upset about it. I don't think he was upset about it.
Every Halloween fan likes to say, well, you know who we'd love to see in Halloween? William Shatner.
They still sell them masks.
Yeah, they still sell them. Like, I mean, I've bought 3 in my lifetime, and it's like I'm probably going to buy more.
Shatner never instituted a lawsuit or anything like that.
I know by 5 the mask had looked a lot differently. I think the lawsuit's the reason why, but I don't know what all became of it personally. So
that's gonna bug me. I'm gonna have to look that up tonight now. What happened to the lawsuit? I forgot all about that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That was a good fact. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
She knows that Michael Myers had blue eyes in one scene. You're not supposed to, because she rips off his mask. It's near the end, and that
Yeah.
Tony Moran's eyes were blue.
Yeah.
It wasn't part of the character's emotional facade, emotionless, I should say.
Well, they wanted him to look a little hideous, and Moran's eye was all messed up from the needle in the scene, and it's like, okay, that looks good. He looks like a killer. That's fine.
Yeah.
It's like you have to have the right look to be unmasked. You have to be ugly to be unmasked. It's
when she's at the door, Jamie Lee Curtis is trying to get in, and she's beating on the door for Tommy to open up. Come on, you little prick, open up the door already. It's like, geez, it was just so intense. It really was. I still enjoy it. I've probably seen it like a gazillion times. And I mean, it's one of those movies, if cable or something's on and it's on, I'll leave it on, whether I'm watching it or background noise, just because it's like comfort food.
Every Halloween, I watch the original 8 films, the original 8 Halloween movies, because they're just so much fun to go back and watch.
Oh, just like
H2O was kind of fun. At least H2O kind of stayed on the timeline.
Yeah. I remember being in high school when H2O came out, and people were like, is it underwater? I'm like, no, it's 20 years after the original.
Yeah.
No. So you had to explain to people why the title, which is just hilarious to me. But yeah, one's a lot of fun. I like how too they shot this in Pasadena, California, basically John Carpenter's hometown. And you do see the palm tree.
Yes.
You actually do see the license plates too.
This is California. I think they tried to make it look as Midwest, but I mean, there were those things that were. I mean, they tried to avoid the California tags, but the one palm tree I noticed, and I just that one time was like, yeah. But I mean, other than that, I mean, though that makes the movies more endearing, at least to me. So.
Well, sure. The same thing like Dark Shadows. The bloopers made the show a lot more endearing.
That was like the blooper central was Dark Shadows. No one has many freaky bloopers as Dark Shadows.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
But you can watch them as the show's doing it too. When you see Laura Parker light the lighter and it goes out on her, it's like she's just going. It's like you appreciate the effort of the actors and the actors
just to keep rolling.
Keep rolling. Like the set catches fire and Jonathan Fred and
Victoria Winters. You can hear all the melee in the background, and they're just still rolling. Yeah.
Trying to stamp out. There were a couple of fires that occurred during Dark Shadows. One of which when Fred and Alexandra Moltke, who played Vicki, were talking in Collinwood, and the fire developed backstage, and you heard all this crashing around because they were trying to stamp it out. And the other time was when Marie Wallace's hair caught on fire. Luckily, she was wearing a wig, as Crazy Jenny, and that's the kind of thing you're watching from a distance, so it isn't happening to you, but you can really appreciate. And the fact that these were troopers, they went ahead and no matter what was happening, they stuck to the script, they stuck to the plot. It's really a tribute to them that they didn't just scream and when what's his name, James Storms got his lights punched out by Kate Jackson, who hit him over the head with what was supposed to be a fake bottle, but it was a real one.
Yeah, and
he had to be taken to the hospital. So it was. It's really a tribute. So I think the bloopers for Halloween would probably give more insight. And it would probably make for a more powerful experience. But the bottom line is, if you do something you can't figure out why it worked, well, it worked, and that's why Halloween is what it is. Now you got Michael Myers. Who's Jason? Because I'm
Jason's from Friday the 13th.
Jason's Friday the 13th. All right. because I was kind of wondering. I know there was Jason versus Freddy, but they never had Michael versus Freddy.
No,
Jason versus. I think Jason also. Who versed Robert Englund? Jason versus Freddy. And there was somebody else. Didn't somebody else versus Freddy? I can't remember now. There's so many of them. God, I mean, I can't even. I
Robert
couldn't even
Englund.
tell you how many of that
Robert,
rubbish I watch all the time. My mother started it though. Oh, we have a haunted doll. Oh my God, I love those. That's so cute.
Oh, well, let's see if this works. Hold on, I'll try to get it.
Oh, does it talk?
Well, it does stuff. Hold on. Oh, where's the button? No, it's not. It's Michael Myers.
Oh, the lights.
That is so cool.
Oh, the lights. Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, somebody made a lot of money off those things too.
That's for sure.
They made all those the little kid thingies with all the the
Is
killers.
that Chucky? Is that supposed to be Chucky?
No, it's Michael. It's Michael Myers.
That's Michael.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at his outfit.
As a 6-year-old, I guess. That's funny.
If you want to make serial killers, only people like us would appreciate something like that because we're all warped basically anyway.
There almost was a Halloween crossover, but it wasn't with Jason. It wasn't with Freddy. Do you want to guess who it almost was with?
I haven't heard this one.
Now, the hints in Halloween H2O, when you're watching Halloween H2O, you'll notice there's a Cenobite from Hellraiser on the porch.
Yeah, I saw that.
And that
were they really going to go there?
They were. Well, Dimension at the time had the rights to Hellraiser, and they were thinking about going there because Clive Barker was interested in doing a crossover with Halloween and Hellraiser. Well, here's the other thing. So was John Carpenter, but they would have had, but it all fell apart. The initial idea was
that would have been interesting.
Yeah, it was to basically take the plot from the first book. Basically, Michael Myers is Samhain. The spirit of Samhain is in Michael Myers, and that's how he would fight Hellraiser.
That's why he kept coming alive. Yeah. Samhain in the second movie.
Yeah,
right there. Yeah.
Yeah, and it never happened, but it was talked about. So.
Oh my God, that'd be so cool. Michael taking on the Cenobites. Woo! That has merit. It does.
Yes. I think that's the thing. Halloween fans, we never got a crossover of any kind. So it's like,
well, they had Jason in outer space and stuff. It's just like, man, that was getting kind of crazy.
Jason X. I saw Jason X. In theaters. That was right when the Mad TV sketch basically becomes a movie. It's like,
yeah.
But it's
what? It's just so outrageous. You'll watch it.
And it's the thing of it is, Jason with a metal hockey mask looks awesome.
Yes, it's very intimidating. Yes, it is. I like that one.
It's like
Freddy versus Jason was kind of interesting too because he was messing with Jason's head.
Yes. The fact that they got
neither one of their brains.
Oh my God! Yeah.
I mean, kick your brain. Yeah.
The woman, not wanting to give Jason mouth to mouth. It's like,
yeah. I'm just like, hell to the no.
No, just let him go. Just let him go.
You got some Mayfly action going. Bring it, Texas.
Did you watch the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie on Netflix? The one they made?
The new one?
Yeah.
The new one. I thought it was okay. I really liked the first one better.
Yeah.
I just do. I like that they brought back the heroine from the first one. I thought, and she almost looked like her there for a second.
Yeah.
If you didn't know that she passed away at a young age, was it Marilyn? Gosh, I always forget her name. But But she was just, God, man, she was just great at it. And she was in what was that other movie she was in the 70s? There was another, she popped up in something else. That's going to drive me nuts. Me and Keith used to talk about it all the time too, because we loved it. But yeah, I mean, it was interesting. It was really total different spin. I mean, I wasn't expecting Leatherface to be in something like that. I mean, it was a cool Leatherface, but the new Franklin, I wanted to kill just as bad as the old Franklin. The girl with the black hair, she was the new Franklin as far as I was concerned.
Yeah, I love how they. Yeah, I love how they centered the story not just around one sister, but the one sister who survived the school shooting.
Yes, that's right. She was traumatized and all that. Yeah. That was very interesting. Yeah, it was.
Yeah. It was something.
I didn't hate it.
It was something a little different. I do
it
feel
was a lot different, actually.
Yeah.
But I liked how I didn't want the hot cowboy. I really did not want him to die. So I really was mad when that happened. Just like, come on, the only one that knows what the fuck to do and is going on, and they kill him. I mean, I thought they would at least let him live for a while so that, they could benefit from his, toughness.
Yes.
Not happening.
In some horror movies, the heroes die first, right?
Yeah. And who's ever having teenage sex definitely is not going out. It just seemed like a formula. It's like you always knew who's going off to screw. It's like, yep, they're gone. Or the lone jogger girl with the half shirt.
Yeah.
We never did find out what happened to that dog in Friday the 13th, the fuzzy dog. Never saw him again either. Oh, wait, that's right. He was in pieces. It's the jogger that owned the dog found. Now I remember, yeah. I mean, they all kind of run in together. I mean, there's just so much slasher filmery in my head half the time. I literally get on TV when I can't sleep at night. Is there something I've never seen? It's like, come on, and then people make these movies. God love them. They made a movie, but they use their iPhone. Sometimes just because you can does not mean you should, Tubi's full of it.
Yes. Yeah, Tubi is. You're right. It is. Tubi's got a bunch of those movies on there. Let me see. What's you guys' favorite scenes in the original Halloween?
This one?
Yeah.
The favorite scene? I've always liked when Jamie Lee Curtis uses that knit needle. That one scene. Then she goes away because she thinks, oh, whatever, he's down. And stupidly stands there at the doorway, just breathing, thinking, not looking behind her. Would you actually not keep? I mean, I would have been out of there. He's down. I'm not going to stand in the doorway while he's like laying 4 feet away from me. But I love that scene because she finally gets him,
Yeah.
And I liked like I said before, the scene where the kid was holding the knife, and the parents they just realized that the kid had killed his sister, and that was powerful.
You should watch Rob Zombie's Halloween. Then you get the whole what happened to him.
Yeah.
And if you ever get interviewed with Rob Zombie, make sure you say you like it.
I've watched both of Rob's movies. There were some
I love his movies. I don't care what anybody says. I am a huge fan of his movies.
There was studio interference in the second movie. So a lot.
I love all of his movies. I like the
I saw Rob's Halloween.
Satan's Rejects, Devil's Rejects, all that stuff. Three from Hell. Love that. Totally love it.
I saw Rob's Halloween in theaters, and it's just like, hey, it's a remake, but it didn't. I think he did a really good job making the movie his own in a lot of ways.
He's got one of the loudest concerts you'll ever attend.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say his concerts are very.
Didn't he do a Monsters movie?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
That was good. I enjoyed
it. Did it ever enjoy? I don't know if it enjoyed the wide distribution though.
It didn't seem like it had wide distribution.
I think it got released to Blu-ray. I'm pretty
I
sure.
think it went right to. I believe it went right to stream almost. I cannot remember though.
Hmm.
The Monsters did it. I don't remember it hitting the theaters, but was that? I just don't remember.
I know I'd watched it on
His movies
TV.
though.
So, but yeah, it's my favorite scene. Obviously, is when Dr. Loomis is talking to Sheriff Brackett at the Myers house, and he gives that speech. I met him when he was 6 years old. You know, I spent 8 years trying to reach him, 7 and another trying to keep him locked up. It's one of the most. Donald Pleasance does an amazing job of selling Michael Myers as this absolute terror that is going to butcher this town. And even Brackett says to him, "You're saying these people lined up for a slaughterhouse?"
Yeah.
Yeah, they are. But it's such a great. Pleasance does a great job of selling this man is evil. And again, the character itself is, when you look at him, you're looking at like the 6-year-old who killed his sister is now going to murder all these people. And it's like he's slowly going to try. I love the way how they shoot the stalking scenes. It feels like they're stalked. He's stalking.
Well, where he's standing by the laundry, the sheets.
Yep.
You know, that was like the epic. You know, he's just standing. Then he's just gone. He's a big man. He just gone.
John Carpenter makes a cameo appearance, voice-wise. He is the voice of Annie's boyfriend.
Really?
Yeah, that's John Carpenter on the phone.
Oh, that's funny.
When you think about it, though, that is John Carpenter's voice. That was kind of funny, yeah.
Well, I'm pretty sure he makes a actual cameo, physical cameo, in Assault on Precinct 13.
I think he did.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. Oh, I think he just saw Halloween.
Yeah.
Is he okay?
No. They hate it when they get hurt.
Yeah.
You all right?
Oh, that's what happens. You okay?
Yeah, she's all right.
Aw.
No, goodness.
I thought maybe she was looking at Halloween and she got scared.
No.
Oh,
Now
the whole place
everybody's
is
all the
going crazy.
chaos ensues.
Now the whole place is going crazy.
Yeah, now the whole house is going crazy.
Look for Michael in the windows.
Yeah, something like that. Oh.
That sounds like Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea.
Yeah, something. But yeah, I have no more questions for you, guys and gals. I give this movie a 10. Is there anything you folks want to add before we go? Hello?
She okay?
Yeah, she's okay. I'm gonna get off here and keep an eye on her. So, she's walking around. So.
All right, that's good. She just got scared.
Yeah.
Just got scared, that's all.
Yeah. So. All right.
Put your spawn down.
Yeah, thank you. But yeah, this is a really great movie. John Carpenter's Halloween.
Were there any other movies that did as well? How did The Exorcist do worldwide?
It did good.
It did. That one freaked everybody out, though. No one was ready for that shit.
Yeah.
Zuzu and all of that crap.
Man.
Because there they were taking, sacred religious tenets and perverting it. and this was just one thing.
That was during the satanic panic, though. I mean, people were like tripping on Satan after that stuff. I mean, I don't know what was going on back then, but that movie scared everybody.
Even one of the lead.
I will watch. I was raised Roman Catholic. That movie disturbed me, I will say. And you know what disturbed me the most was the scene where she's crawling upside down, crab walking down the stairs. I cannot watch that shit. I was raised on the devil. It's like freaks me the fuck out. And it is a brilliant movie, but it does disturb me. Because I just, it's like, hey, I goof on shit, but I might be wrong. You never.
I went with my friend and his older brother to see The Exorcist, and I'll never forget. The older brother looked like he had fallen asleep. Actually, he fainted.
The third one scared me more with the scissors. Do you remember the scissors?
The pea soup.
No, the scissors in the third one when Father
Oh,
Karras is still alive, and they got him, and he's got those things. You just see him with those big. I don't know what the hell. Oh my God, that was one of the scariest freaking scenes in film history. I don't give a shit what anybody says. Scared me to death.
Funny.
Did you ever see the Ninth Configuration?
Which one? Oh yes.
Yeah. Has a character from The Exorcist in it. Yeah. The astronaut.
It's been some time. It's been
yeah. Well, where the indestructible killer came from wasn't Michael, wasn't Jason, wasn't
Samhain. It was Celtic.
It was
they did take it from that, but
it was a little where they.
Are you talking film wise or weird wise?
Film wise, there's a little movie called Faster Pussycat Kill Kill Kill.
Yes, I've seen it.
Yeah. The dark-haired woman.
Is it a giallo film? Is that a giallo film? No, wait, that one isn't.
Yeah.
I can't remember now, but I know which one you're talking about.
The one woman keeps coming back. She keeps coming back. The strong-armed woman where she's beating people up. And she eventually does die, but that's sort of where, to me, the indestructible killer really starts. In a lot of ways. 3 murdering go-go dancing women. Why not?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of there, but the latter, actually the mid to latter 60s, there was a lot of film that kind of encompassed this, but they were those films that are so obscure now. You almost got to dig to find them. There's a couple. I find some really weird shit on my Roku TV. There's some, if you can figure it, there's shit out there. You can find it. One day I just decided to go, okay, I'm going to look for pre-code Hollywood movies because I love pre-code Hollywood movies. So I looked for it. There's a whole station for pre-code Hollywood. Just love that station.
Yeah, Roku has a ton of stuff that's like.
I love my Roku TV.
You can look up almost anything.
Pluto also, I think, has a lot of stuff.
Pluto's got some good stuff. Tubi's got some good stuff. I mean, I think they even got a full moon whole catalog on Tubi now.
Yeah. This has been a lot of fun talking John Carpenter's Halloween with you both. When do you want to come back?
Anytime you want us to.
How is Thursday?
This Thursday?
Yes.
That's quick. What do you want to do?
This coming Thursday?
Yes. I'm going to have you guys talk Halloween 2 with me.
Oh, Halloween 2.
Yeah.
Halloween 3?
2.
2. We will do 3. I promise. I love Halloween 3.
I was wondering if you could make it next week. How about next Thursday? Is that possible?
Yeah.
Next Thursday?
Sure.
Yeah, I think I'm good. Wait. Thursday. Is that not the...
Next Thursday, not this Thursday, the following.
Let me make sure. Oh, we're into April. How did that happen? Oh, wait. Okay, wait. Can we bump that to like... we can do it. I can do it.
Okay.
Make it
next
work.
Thursday. What day is... And we're doing 10. What? Halloween 3? Why not Halloween 2?
Halloween 2. We're doing Halloween 2.
You'll like Halloween 2 better. It takes off where Halloween 1 left off.
Left off.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Samhain.
A lot.
All you gotta remember, Samhain.
A lot of terror. The fact that it was there was parts that filmed in Inglewood, California. Is fun.
Yes.
So yeah. But first of all, I want to thank Vicki and Tom for joining me tonight. Link to the Literary License podcast will be in the description box. You folks have a great night.
Thank you, hon.
Thank you. Good seeing you again.
Bye.
Bye, people.
Take care. Take care, Vicki.
Bye, hon.
Bye.
Speak to you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.